Another great champion to get out of elo with is ILLAOI. ILLAOI runes, you either have two options. Option 1 is Undying Grasp and option 2 is Conqueror. Usually you want to go Conqueror when you feel like you won't be autoing the enemy as much and you're mostly going to be playing passive in your early game. At level 1, it depends on the matchup if you're going to be playing reserved. So versus Kled, we're definitely going to be playing reserved and passive. And so for this instance, we want to go Q first. This is so you can farm from further away if needed. Your Q is a long range rectangle that charges for about a second and then does AoE damage. You will not be able to move during this animation. ILLAOI's Q is also a slam, so it will heal her for a percentage of her health, and her tentacles also slam, which will also heal her for a percentage of her health. For your quick casts, I'd recommend Q and W or whatever you prefer. The reason I say Q and W as it makes your Q land quicker because you don't have to aim or you don't have to confirm a click. And this is important as its animation time is already super slow. For W, you have two options, either press W and then right click the enemy, or right click the enemy and then press W. Your ult is already on quick cast, and finally for your E, in my opinion, it is much more accurate to have it off quick cast, and you can see the range of it as well. So for new players, it's very beneficial to have it off quick cast. So if Kled does hook you, you just move away, and if he is in, you just want to trade while moving back. For your level 2 level up, if you go Q first, then you have the option to take E or W. Now, we'd take E if we believe that we'll be able to hit it. So for now, I'm not leveling E as I don't feel like the Kled has ever been in a position where we're able to land an E on him. So a good way to poke with ILLAOI is to use her Q when the enemy comes up to auto his minions. You also want to line up the Q so it hits the enemy and his minions. Now that we're level 3, it doesn't matter what we level as we want all 3 abilities. ILLAOI has a slight combo spike once she gets all 3 abilities, as if we hit RE and are near her tentacles, they will automatically slam the enemy. ILLAOI's E is a medium ranged ability that basically clones the enemy champion into your melee range, but the clone will only take 30% of your damage at rank 1. The more you level E, the more damage the clone will take. Also, ILLAOI's E is one of her most important abilities in terms of doing damage with her ult and combining it with her passive too. Finally, her E ability is very crucial for fights or 1v1s, as if you miss her E, you will probably end up losing the fight. As you can see, ILLAOI's abilities complement one another very well, so you always want to be next to a tentacle or have your E off cooldown. So finally, we can talk about her passive, her tentacles. So her tentacles just spawn every 15 seconds and her tentacles complement her other abilities like I just mentioned. So once you land your E, the tentacles will also slam the clone. And if you W the clone or enemy, the tentacles will also follow up with a slam. Back to the game, we're pushing in the wave, trying to get turret platings. We can't dive the Kled here because he's 50% charged to his mount. So what we can do is proc the plating on the tower, and which we do, and then base. Since Kled is a melee champion, we're going to be going Iceborne Gauntlets. And if you want to go damage first, you go Sheen. But if you want to go tanky, you can either buy the gem or the armor. Building for ILLAOI, you usually have 3 options, which are Iceborne Gauntlets, Cleaver, or a magic resist item. Usually you don't want to pick ILLAOI when the enemy top laner has picked an ability power champion, as you won't be able to go Iceborne Gauntlets. So this is what a standard trade looks like on ILLAOI vs Kled. He misses, we go for our W, and then once we walk behind him, we go for our E, and it works out for us. We managed to land it. Another tip for your E, the enemy will always be looking to dodge your E if they're good. If not, they won't be dodging as much, but usually they're going to be looking to dodge your E. So as stated earlier, the clone takes 30% of your damage, of any damage that you do. So hitting your Q on the clone will do damage. And the best way to deal the most damage is to hit the clone and the enemy. So we're at level 6 and this is where you get your ult, but Kled is nowhere to be seen. He's actually roaming to mid lane and looking to gank, so we're going to skip to where he comes back to lane. Okay, so for her R, we have this area of circle that will deal damage to any champion in it or a clone that is in it. Also, her tentacles slam much faster for 8 seconds during her ult. And your W gets a 2-second cooldown instead of a 4-second cooldown. So as you can see, if there was one champion, one tentacle spawns. Now if there was 2 champions, again, they have to be in range. 2 extra tentacles will spawn. And then obviously if you clone a champion, 3 tentacles will spawn. And again, since you cloned a champion, the tentacles will automatically slam the clone. So again, you can combo this with your W as well to make them slam again. And that's pretty much it for her ult. So he's back to lane. We're at level 7 now, and you want to start maxing your E after putting 3 points in Q. You can max your E straight away, but I like to put 3 points into Q. I'm going to show you one last fight of Kled and how it looks in terms of using our ult. So we land our Q, and then Kled decides to go in for auto trades, and this is a perfect time to E. Make sure you don't E the minions, as it will block your E. So he's under his tower now. Another tentacle spawns. He comes in to remount charge, but I W and tentacles are in range for slams. Right after the R, we instantly Q, and it works out for us, and he ends up dying. Right after that, the most ideal thing is to push tower and get a plating, hopefully. I'm gonna leave you guys with a 2 champion ult in the game, and hopefully this guide helped. If you're looking to play ILLAOI, leave a comment if it did, and if anyone can help other people with some more comments, drop them below.